to the capsule.
Capsule all day.
Yo, it's the capsule. You done know.
The capsule.
The capsule.
Enjoy the taste.
This may be a long one, so strap the fuck in. No, I'm joking. I'm going to try to make it not long. But there's a lot to talk about, so I'll do my best. Last time I said I was going to try and keep it shorter, and it ended up being the same length as the other one. So, what happened this week? So I'm going to go in chronological order, the best I can, of the week, and as usual, my breakdown of what happened and my thoughts on everything. So, starting last week, I want to say Wednesday, basically Red Bull put on an event which was a warm-up for Dance Your Style UK. So it was like a warm-up event. It was called Celebrating the Future of Dance. It was a panel discussion with 4 guests and some kind of performances as well, and like kind of audience interaction games. It was cool. It was at the Red Bull headquarters in Central. It was interesting. It was a different crowd than usual. Like, I was really surprised. Like, I think I saw maybe like 4 people from the battle scene there, which is cool. But just considering that everyone in the actual Dance Your Style are like battlers and part of the battle scene, like, no, I don't know that many people in the battle scene knew about the event. From the people I spoke to, but it seemed that the Wednesday warm-up event was maybe more, the crowd was more influencers, I would say. Yeah, like, and maybe potentially like Afro dance community based on the subject of discussion in the panel talks and kind of some of the videos they showed and the performances. I'm not in that community whatsoever, so I could be completely wrong. It could be not from that community at all, or, you know, it could be, that could be the community and I've just never been in around those circles before. I didn't really recognize many people, to be honest with you, besides the people on the panel and in the show. I actually don't think that was a bad thing. I quite like seeing a different side of the UK dance community, and like the fact that there's another side of it that I haven't seen. You know, I think a lot of us are aware of the battle scene and the commercial scene, the choreography scene, the hip hop theatre type scene, all of these different kind of areas that we see as making up the UK dance scene. But then, yeah, we also have, I guess, the online influencer kind of community, which are all UK based dancers, and you know, it's a valid expression of dance, so why not? You know, it's good to see a community like that, like in real life and stuff. Yeah, it was just interesting to see a crowd like that. Yeah, you don't usually see a whole dance event with not at least a few more familiar faces, but yeah, it was a nice event. Can't really say much about it. Just pretty straightforward. Panel discussion, a few little performances, and then a little bit of an after party, and then it was done about 10:30 or so. I think that's because of the venue. That venue has to be done by a certain time, I think, because every time there's an event there, it finishes around that time. But yeah, I won't stay on that one too long. Then we had Saturday was the Company Flies event. If you watched last week's podcast or listened, I kind of broke down the structure of the concept. So basically, if you are not familiar, there's a company called Company Flies from France who came to do a qualifier for their event in Paris. There was 3 categories. It was the concept category, popping, and hip hop, all one-on-ones. So if you looked at the concept last week, it was potentially a little bit confusing. But you know what I was saying is like, it's the same as like a board game or something like Monopoly, or if, you know, when you learn a new board game, somebody starts reading out the rules and you're like, I don't really get it. Like, can we play a round to try it? And then once you start playing, you're like, okay, I get it. But just reading all the rules of Monopoly or any other board game out on the booklet is a bit like, I need to see it happen. So it's kind of like that with this concept. Like, if I just describe it or you know, read it from the website, I'm like, I don't. Even they made a video explaining the concept, and it was still a bit confusing. But having like it playing out in real time, it wasn't as confusing. Yeah. So the event was in a venue in Peckham, which I hadn't been to before. I don't think there's ever been a dance event there before. It was like an art gallery type space, which was cool. I think one thing with events and battles is the venue really sets the tone of the battle. So if you're in a venue where there's loads of battles that have happened, your event kind of blends in people's memory. So when you go to a different place and there's a different venue, it kind of sticks out in people's memories, for better or for worse, you know. So yeah, the venue was cool. What else? They had basically the other part of before I get to the concept, they had one beat maker who DJ'd and like played all his tracks from his. That's what they told us anyway. Like that, he was playing all his own music or his exclusive. So I don't know if exclusives means he got some other beats or if they were all his tracks, but I think they were all his tracks. That was okay. I think the problem with it being one beat maker is it can kind of get of a similar tempo, because even the most diverse beat makers have a taste and they have a style, and that's what makes them good, you know. So if you only hear that the whole day, it can get a bit monotonous. I mean, he makes good beats, so it wasn't like, you know, that wasn't a problem. And there was a few like changes in feeling and tempo, but they didn't really last that long. It kind of went back to this similar sort of style, which is his. And by the end of the day, I felt like it was a bit, you know, a lot of the same. You know, too much of anything is never a good thing, I think. But you know, it was cool. The music's cool. It wasn't anything too terrible, so it wasn't a problem. I'm just, yeah, I guess I wouldn't have gone with that, but I get it also because it simplifies things where you don't have to worry about collecting different songs. It promotes that beat maker. You don't have to worry about copyright, anything like that. So yeah. So then the concept, I said last week, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of rounds, and it was. So like the first round was like, there was 11 of them. One was a guest, I think. But basically every time they went once, everyone went once, and then they took two people out. Then everyone went again, then they took two people out. Everyone went again, then they took two people out. Then they did, the next round was like 3 pools of 3, so 3 groups of 3, and it's like a 3 to smoke, so you battle. It's like winner stays on, king of the hill type thing. And then the first person to get 3 points goes through. And it was just like everybody did a lot of rounds. But then also on top of that, a lot of the dancers entered popping and hip hop, and then they did extra rounds, you know. So it was a lot of people did a lot of rounds, which isn't in essence isn't a bad thing. It's it's not a bad thing in essence, because that's kind of what I think I said this last week, but that's something I want to see more of, is like us doing more rounds and testing ourselves as dancers in different ways. Like, yes, a short knockout battle tests you in a certain way, but so does your, like, a longer battle tests your stamina, tests how many rounds you have, tests all the different things, tests your creativity when you're tired. Like, so I think it is interesting to see that. I just think it would have been better if the dancers, it was long for the dancers, but not for the audience as well, if that makes sense. Because where you had the 3 concepts, not the 3 concepts, 3 categories, the concept and the popping and the hip hop, it was like quite a lot of stuff happening. And on the same music, the same dancers over and over, a lot of rounds. It was just a bit like this, like not monotonous, so that sounds negative, but it was just a lot, again, like I said about the viewing, it's just a lot of the same. I think they could have just done the one category. They could have just done the concept. I get the idea of like adding more so that the people that don't want to enter the concept have something else to do and you get more people to the event. But just in terms of, you know, purely like event wise, I don't think they needed the extra, maybe popping as well. But, you know, the music was very similar in the concept and in the hip hop. So it kind of ended up being the same thing. But yeah, just more rounds and different format. But do you know what I mean? Like in terms of what the dancers were doing, they weren't doing anything different than they did when they were in the hip hop or whatever. And even the poppers weren't really doing anything different in the popping that they were. There wasn't a distinction between the categories enough to keep the event like, not exciting. It was exciting, but like keep the event fresh, I guess. Ice won the hip hop and the concept, which is called Last Survivor Concept, LSC. And then Sean won the pop-in. Ice apparently had a broken foot, which I didn't know, so props to him for winning 2 categories on a broken foot. That's not easy. I mean, walking on a broken foot isn't easy. What else? I mean, I don't want to just say only negative stuff. Like, the event was cool. I think I'm going to say one more negative thing. It finished 2 hours late, which is like, I get it. But, you know, on the thing it said 12 till 7. That when we get there and like the schedule is kind of announced, it was like, all right, we're going to start prelims at 2. You have 3 categories. You're going to do prelims for 3 categories starting at 2 p.m. and a concept which is already longer than the normal battle and 2 categories from top 8 to the finals plus judge demos. It's like, I feel like you could have seen it coming that it's not going to finish on time. And kind of we all did, like at the beginning of the event, we're like, we're not going to finish on time. And the thing is, the problem with that is it's like, in essence, it's fine. You know, like there was no issues. Like they didn't have to cut the battle short. The venue was fine. You know, the event ran normally. But people might have had plans, which they had to move. You know, they had to, I can't, you know, meet. I was supposed to meet you at 8 or 9 for dinner or whatever, but I can't because the event's still going and I'm in the finals or whatever. Which may not be an issue for that specific event, but if you want to keep doing events, you have to keep in mind like how you fit into people's day and what you're going to leave, like what the memory is going to be, you know? It's fine if you do that one event and then you move on and you never want to do an event again, but people are going to be like, oh, that was the event that was long last time. And this is an annoying thing because this is what we feel about all fucking dance events, but it shouldn't be like that. Like events should run to time unless something goes wrong, you know? And maybe something did, but, you know, this is just the impression we have of all dance events is that they're all late and run long, and it's like, they don't have to. It's just about foresight, you know? Do 2 categories instead of 3, or do 1 category. Like 3 in 7 hours with 3 prelims when you start at 2 p.m. instead of 12 when the doors open, you know, I feel like it's kind of, you know, I mean, I don't know the event experience they have, but I feel like a lot of us could have seen that coming. So yeah, I would have cut it down, or just announce that the event's gonna go on till 9 or something. But when you say a set time and you announce it on a flyer, people are gonna expect that that's the thing. This is what I don't like about you. Like, event flyers aren't just like you can just put anything on it. Otherwise, I can put, oh yeah, Michael Jackson's gonna judge my next fucking event. Like, a lot of dance events just put the stuff on the flyer and then sort it out afterwards. Not just this event, you know. I'm just saying, like, people are like, oh, this person's judging and this person, oh yeah, the judges changed. It's like, no, like, you announce that. Like, get your shit together first before you announce who's judging and who your guests are and stuff like that. And if there's a change, make a public post and a public announcement saying, hey, this person has had to drop out, blah, blah, blah. That's going to go on to something I'm going to talk about later. But, yeah, so, you know, it finished at 9 when it's supposed to finish at 7. It wasn't the biggest deal in the world. A few people had to leave. That's the other problem, to get trains home and stuff. So there was like 2 people that got through and popping that didn't, weren't there when popping started because they had to leave, so they had to rejig and put people in. Again, not the biggest problem, but it's avoidable mistakes. So I would learn from that for the next time, but I just feel like as a whole, I'm talking on a grander scale now, like we should all learn from these things. We've all been to events where it happens, so when we go and put on an event, we should remember and just chill out and do less categories than we need to and build up as we get bigger and as we get better and as we get more funding and more venue time and all this, But no, it was a cool event. The dancers were sick, like I said, it's not easy to do that many rounds and stuff like that. So it was dope to see people like really pulling out their shit and like being tired and trying hard. Like I said, Ice was on a fucking broken foot and he still did well. Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool event. It was very just a battle event, that was like mainly about the battle. There wasn't any showcases besides the judges and stuff like that. So kind of like a big contrast to Sunday's Dance Your Style. But yeah, it was all right. Like I would say if it comes back, I'd go again. I would hope they'd learn from some of the stuff. I think the concept in places could be a bit unnecessary. Like it's cool. I like that they're trying to do something different, but I just feel like, why do we need to do another round? We've already seen them dance, or they've already, you know what I mean? Like these people have already battled twice, so why do we need to battle twice again in the next round? Because we kind of know who's going to win by this point. But that's just how it felt. But yeah, I realize I'm just saying mostly the negative things because they're easier to remember than the good things. Like it ran pretty flawlessly. There wasn't any huge hiccups or anything like that. Everyone was nice. Like they, all these things are like, okay, it's kind of like we expect them from an event. So it's kind of to praise an event for doing what we expect is like, yeah, you did a lot of stuff right, for sure. But there's also like a lot of stuff that, if you didn't go above and beyond, do you know what I mean? Like if you went above and beyond, cool. If you did what we expect, thank you. And there's a few things that need fixing, but overall it was cool. I think it's something that I would enjoy as a dancer more than an audience member. But that's a lot. Again, it's a lot of battle events. It's more about the battlers than the audience, and I think that's also something that we can learn from. All right. I wonder if I can keep this within a reasonable time limit. So, Dance Your Style was on Sunday. My opinion is I fucking loved it. I think it was the best battle we've had this year. Now, we've been locked down. We were locked down at the beginning of the year, so there haven't been that many events. It was my favorite event of the year. Yeah, like it was a fucking good event. Like Red Bull did a really good job. And, first of all, like Red Bull have money to put into events. So there was stuff that you don't get at other events. It was a big, nice venue. There was like a proper stage with like a branded thing, and it was raised stage. They had the big screens with people's faces on. They had the brackets come up with each person's name and it moved, like proper battle event stuff. We can't all afford to do that when we put on events, especially without funding or backing from a big company. So I'm not, saying they did anything any better than someone else, but they just have money. So, but nonetheless, it made the fucking event sick. So what can I say? What do you want from me? It was good. There was the 16 dancers, the 8 who were invites and the 8 who were qualified from the London qualifier. So just to pause on that point, AJ didn't battle. This is something that people were talking about. We posted about on the Capsule, and I actually emailed someone at Red Bull to ask. I didn't get a response as of the time of recording about why, because AJ is a b-boy and he entered the Dance Your Style qualifier, won both of his battles to qualify, and didn't he didn't end up on the stage on Sunday. And Elise, who he beat in the second round of his battles in the qualifier, was there. He made a post about it saying, I'll actually read out what the part that is of relevance of what he said. But basically, it was to do with Red Bull wanting that. He said they want a clear separation between BC1 and Dance Your Style because AJ was also a wild card for BC1. So, here's my thing on that. Red Bull can do what they want. It's their competitions. It's their battles. They have every right to do what they want, and it's not up to us to be able to say, oh, he should be allowed in this, he should be allowed in that. Now, having said that, he shouldn't, if that's the rule, he shouldn't have been allowed to enter and win the UK qualifier. So, a mistake was made. It's fine. It happens. As far as I know, it's been talked about internally with AJ and everything's been, it's been cleared up and it's fine. I think that, do Red Bull need to announce that Elise was, because that was what AJ was posting about, is that they didn't announce anything to say that he wasn't going to do it. Do they need to? I don't know what my opinion is on that, because for us, yes, it would be nice to know that AJ is not going to be in it and to know, but also they don't have to announce. It's their event. Again, it's up to them how they want to market it. They don't owe us that we have to be informed of everything. It's up to us to feel like, is it an event we want to go to or not? It didn't affect the turnout. So, they didn't announce who was going to be filming. But, we still went. They didn't announce who was going to be on the door. So they're allowed to make changes and do what they want. It's, as a crowd, you can feel like you wish you knew that and you wish you knew the reasons. But as an organization, they can also make changes to their event. It's not a huge thing. I think there was a lot of like Insta stories and stuff going around. And I would say that we need to be careful about how we behave ourselves. Like, especially if you're someone in the scene, you're running an organization, you're a person that might be competing in other things, is like these like angry statuses and stuff, they get remembered, they get screenshotted, they get sent to people, and they're going to affect shit in the future. So with the capsule and with what I'm saying now, there's nothing that I'm saying now that I wouldn't say in a meeting with Red Bull. There's nothing that I wouldn't say to AJ to his face. And we've had conversations. There's nothing that I've posted on the capsule that I don't write with the intention that someone from Red Bull or AJ or whoever is going to see it, right? And that's me thinking ahead business-wise as well. The way you approach people will not indicate, but like the way you approach people is the results you're going to get. If you're making a little status and just mouthing off and swearing and this and that, we're not going to get anything from that. We're not going to be respected, especially you're not going to be respected, but it just contributes to the scene. So if anyone's listening that, listens to my opinion or holds it in any sort of regard, like, just think about the way you write on social media when we're dealing with especially with external people that are potentially bringing things into our scene that we can take advantage of. Like, there's people out here hustling, trying to make these relationships work so that we can get shit. Obviously, they're going to get shit out of it as well, whether it's Red Bull, whether it's Nike, whether it's whoever, whether it's a celebrity or whatever. It's like, we need to not just mouth off about, it's your fucking right. If you want to mouth off, I don't care. But that's just my fucking opinion. Now, if you had yours, I had mine. I think I would say that they need to make they need to make the rule clear. That's all I would say to Red Bull. Is the rule that you can't enter Dance Your Style and BC1? Or is it you can enter, but if you win the qualifier, you won't be allowed to do it? Is it that if you get invited to one, you can't enter, or if you get invited to the other, or you can enter both? Like, what's the rule? That's all I think, because that's going to affect us in future. Entrants need to know what the deal is. And if I'm entering BC1, I want to know what that's going to affect in the future. If I'm entering Dance Your Style, I want to know what that's going to affect. That's it. I would say they need to make a post about the rule, or it doesn't have to be a post. It's just something that we can be informed about the rule. In terms of this specific event and them announcing or them changing, putting Elise in instead of AJ or whatever, they don't owe us anything. If they did, it would be a nice thing. Let me not get that wrong. If they had said, unfortunately, because of this rule change, AJ's been taken out and we've replaced him with Elise, who got beat, blah, blah, blah. That would have been a nice thing. I think it would have gone a long way in terms of just courtesy to the dancers who are participating, Courtesy to Elise, because then we know why she's on stage and not AJ, who we expected to be on stage. Courtesy to AJ, why he's standing in the... You know what I mean? Like, these things, I think it would have gone a long way, but they don't owe us it, so I'm not holding it against them at all. Anyway, that out of the way, the event was fucking sick. I loved it. They killed it. It's like, I don't even know if they know that they did such a dope thing, like I think for them it's just, this is how you run an event. You put money in it in the right places and you do the things that make the audience experience good. And that's how events run. Like, I studied events management in uni, and it's like a lot of the stuff is like, there's nothing Red Bull did that was like, whoa, I can't believe they did that. It's like, it's just good event etiquette. There's a good venue. There was this, it started on time. There was door stuff that brought us, like, it just worked well. And again, I know a lot of this stuff comes along with having money to put into your event. What can I say? It helped. It worked. The dancers that were there it was cool. Like, listen, there's been a lot of talk about and we posted about Frankie saying about the Dance Your Style. Almost, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the post is on the Capsule Instagram if you want to check it. But like, about it kind of making a mockery of the top styles and BC1 being the serious thing. And like, full respect to Frankie, and like, he's someone I talk to, and he's, his opinion doesn't mean that I'm right and he's wrong or anything like that. I don't think that that's what happened at this event. This particular event, I'm not talking about Dance Your Style as a whole concept. Like, I think that this was sick, and it actually made the dancers dance properly. Like, I don't think it was like silly music. I think the DJs did a sick job. Shout out to Steph, and I don't know the other girl's name. I'm sorry. But yeah, like, also something that people mentioned about the Saturday Company Flies event is that it was all male. Judges, DJ, host, organizer, like, everything was like male. All the guests were male, but like, so, Red Bull did well on that. They had a lot of different female representation. The two DJs were women, and like, they were sick. They killed it. Like, even though they were playing like mainstream stuff, they still kind of like on the low played stuff that would suit each person. And that's not easy to do with the popular music. Because you kind of got to know the dancers and know what they're going to be able to dance to. And they really and they knew London as well. And they knew the UK. Like, I don't know, some of the songs that they played like J Hus, like the third song in the finals was Pow. And it was like Silk and J Funk. And it's like, that's of course going to go off in an event like that where people are drinking and and you're playing, it's like popular songs. You're going to play Pow is like, that's such a dope move to do that. And it really like banged at the event. And like, yeah, like J Hus, some of these other like UK artists that they played, it's like they knew the crowd they were playing to and they knew the dancers they were playing to. So shout out to the DJs. The dancers killed it. Everyone was really good. So this is the thing, right? With Dance Your Style, I think what people think is that because of the way it's framed in like the charisma and the crowd choose, and it's about the charisma and personality, it's like, okay, whoever acts the silliest is gonna win, or whoever has the biggest like personality is gonna win. And that's not necessarily true, right? But it's easy to see it that way if you don't look any deeper, right? The thing that I think Red Bull have almost stumbled upon by accident, I don't know if they've done this on purpose, maybe they have, like, credit to them if they did this with this in mind, but like, I think it tests dancers on a skill set which is absolutely fucking necessary as any type of dancer, but especially a battle dancer. And normal battles, you can get away with not having these things, right? Or people that have these things might not necessarily win, but they're super important, right? And it's like Jordan, first of all, shout out to J Funk. He won and he fucking smoked it. He was really, really good. But he didn't act silly. He didn't do anything, like, he wasn't like walking around being stupid. He was dancing his ass off. And what made it sick was that the things that were working for him, it's not just because he's big and energetic. It's lots of more subtle performance techniques that you can only get with experience. And you could tell some of the dancers on there didn't have experience in the sense of they maybe hadn't battled a lot, or they had done dance a lot, but like, they hadn't battled a lot, or they hadn't danced for that long, right? And you could see Jordan, even though I still think of him as young, you could see Jordan's performance experience come through, right? Because getting a crowd to get hyped is not something to be like dismissed as an easy thing to do. If you think it is, please try. It's not easy. And you can be sick. You can be like the dopest popper with the most intricate techniques, but to get a crowd like behind you is not easy. And the things that apply to getting a crowd behind you also apply to getting judges behind you, or getting anyone that's watching in an audition or whatever. It's just performance techniques. So like Jordan would, what he did, what I thought was a really fucking clever move, and I don't think anyone else did it besides Silk, and he ended up in the finals, is he started, every round had a concept, right? And not a concept like something too crazy or intricate, but it was like, I can't think of anything, but it was like, this round is the round where I'm like drinking something, right? And he would go back to it, drink, and then he'd take the drink and then open it and go in, and it's like the good thing about that is it allows the audience to follow what's happening, because a lot of times we throw so much fucking information because we're trying to tick all the boxes of battle, like, oh, I can do this, I can do Fresno, I can do Toyman, I can do that, and you're just banging thing after thing, which, cool, the judges are trained to pay attention, but the audience aren't, and they need to judge. So you need to give them something that they can, oh yeah, because that's the drink, and then it goes over there, and they're following along with what's happening. But while the surface level of that is like, oh yeah, well, anyone that did a concept could do well. No, it's about allowing an audience to follow the narrative, in air quotes, of your round from beginning to end. And that's just good structure. It doesn't matter what arena it's in, whether this is a hip hop theater piece, whether this is a fucking ballet, whether this is even a song. You know, it's good structure that the audience know where they are in the thing. They have an anchor at the beginning and end. They have it goes somewhere and comes back. So Jordan did it through this thing with the concepts, which were very easy to read for the people that weren't dancers. But if you are a dancer, you appreciated the shit he was doing even more because you had something to follow along with. Silk did it as well. He had like more of like a character that he played, and it was nice. Whereas some of the dancers just came out and did rounds, and it's like, cool, like, but if we're not analyzing it for all the historical context and technique and vocab and stuff like that, what are you left with? You have to be left with something, because for me, that's like the cake without the stuff, like without the icing on, I guess. It's like, or maybe that's not a good example, but it's like, if you make me a birthday cake and it's just literally the raw cake and you know, you've cooked it, but it's just the cake with nothing, you put it out, it looks a bit dead. But if you put icing on it, write my fucking name on it, and put a candle, light the candle and turn off the light, like, you're presenting it, you're performing your shit. So it's not enough to have stuff. It's not enough to have, or put it this way, it shouldn't be enough to have technique and to have, you know, clean hits and blah, blah, blah. You should be able to perform. And actually, at the world level in battles, it's not enough to just have the shit. You have to be able to perform it. If you've ever been, I don't know who I'm even talking to right now, but like, I don't know you personally, what level of dancers you've been around. If you've been around the top level of dancers in the world, it's different, man. Like, you see them battle, and if you're in a room or in a cypher or in a training session with them, it like, the energy like comes out at you. And everything feels bigger, everything feels better, everything feels smooth and planned. Is performance techniques on top of good shit. There's dancers that are really fucking good but don't get anywhere because they just tick the boxes, and it's like, yeah, but you also need to perform. And I'm not talking about how these things should be judged. I'm just talking about the general response to certain dancers, right? Salar's a great example. If you've ever seen Salar live, it's like he knows how to control a crowd, and it's a really underrated skill. And I think I don't know that this is the reason that Red Bull do this, but I think it forces you to see who has experience as a performer without even it needing to be something silly and making us laugh. There was times when it was like the audience reacted at Dance Your Style more than I've seen an audience react at most battle events. And that's because of the dancers. It's because of we can connect with the music. Like, yeah, if it's Spice Girls and it's someone like being silly on Spice Girls, we don't really take it seriously. But Jordan crumping to Jay Huss is sick. Like, is dope. Like, when Pow came on, it was fucking powerful. And it's like, you won't get that from just someone like looking down, pop into a battle beat, So I think there's a real merit in this event. And I think it's fucking dope. And I think there's not that it needs to be reproduced, Dance Your Style, but the things that, like, I would love if we could take out the silly songs. I would love if we could maybe split it up into styles or whatever. But like, we need to take lessons from this and run our own events that capture these things. Because even as an audience member, it was like, I haven't enjoyed an event like that in a long time. And I didn't go to last year, 2 years ago's 3 years ago now. No, 2. Dance Your Style. But like, it's not often that I've been to events that I really enjoyed like that. And I enjoyed dancers that I've seen for years. I've seen Jordan since he was a little kid. I've seen Kofi dance for 15 years. I've seen these people for a long time, and I've never enjoyed them like I did last night. It'll be 2 nights ago now. But yeah, I think it was sick. And I think actually, my opinion is that it's needed, this type of event. Yes, if Red Bull do it every year, that would be great, because I think it's a nice big thing for us to all kind of gather around. I think these big events are cool, but I think even more so with this, it's like the concept brings out something that I love, which is, the understanding of performance techniques. One thing, like, I don't know if a lot of people notice this, but a lot of the dancers that didn't do well did a lot of floor work and footwork. And the stage was raised a little bit, but everybody was standing, and there was no tilt. There was a couple of stands at the back, but it was all flat and we were all standing. So if you're a dancer on the stage, we can't see your feet besides the first row. And if you go on the floor, we can't see anything you've done, but the crowd are the ones voting. So the people that went on the floor a lot, maybe they didn't have the presence of mind in the moment or whatever, but what they're unintentionally doing is losing 12, 15 seconds of their round for everyone that wasn't in the first row. So then when it comes to voting, who are we going to vote for? The person that we feel more, which is the person that we saw more. So there's all sorts of things that you have to think about. Where are your audience? Are you engaging with them? Not like, looking at them and making them laugh, but are they part of your round? Are you timing your shit well? One thing is timing when to change energy and when to bring your energy down and bring it back up. And because we know that the judges in a battle are usually just, it's their job, but they're getting paid to analyze everything we're doing, we lose the performance and just do the thing. And we're like, well, I did Toyman, so that ticked that box, or whatever it might be, Whereas when it's an audience, it's like we don't have to fucking watch you, but we're voting for you. So if you want to get to the next round, you better perform for us, which isn't as negative as I think it sounds out of the context. It's actually dope. And I think as dancers, we are performers inherently. It's part of it. So I think to be a it's fine. If you're a battler that doesn't excel in this arena, totally fine. All I'm saying is that it brings out a different skill set and a different talent, and it showcases people who have experience in different areas, which I think is fucking sick, because battles are often the same shit over and over, which is fine, because some of that same shit I love and I would watch that over and over. But it's nice in the same way that we want concept battles or all styles battles or this, to have this event that showcases something that doesn't really get showcased besides maybe in the choreo world or on, you know, like being a backup dancer or something like that, where you have to learn to perform and to use crowds and to keep people's attentions and stuff, because that's what you're there to do. Anyway, yeah, what else is there to say about Red Bull? Everyone was sick. Like, I really mean that, and I don't always say that. Like, in fact, I often don't say that. In fact, I often say the opposite. But like all 16 dancers is really good, and it was really exciting and interesting to watch all of them in this different arena. There was no songs that I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid, you know. Like I don't want to really see people trying to pop to Spice Girls or whatever, even if it looks cool. But like the DJs took it seriously, and they played stuff that was good. The music before, like in the warm up, was sick. It was just an enjoyable event from the beginning to end, man. Like I really liked it. Yeah, I think I've said what I said on that. I didn't make this any shorter than I was going to. Sorry, guys. I wanted to try and keep these at shorter length, but if you're still listening, then thanks. I'm going to try and put the time code so it's easier to navigate these things anyway. All right. Yeah. I'm looking forward to more Dance Your Style. I'm looking forward to more BC1. I'm looking forward to more events because we've been, you know, locked down and now things are coming back. I think everything is needed. We need range. If it was only Dance Your Style and BC1, it would be shit. If it was only these underground events, it would be shit. If it was only qualifiers for other countries, it would be shit. We need everything. We need, like, when Loud Cloud was outdoors and like it was like this with a speaker and it was kind of like a super underground event. We need that. We also need Dance Your Style on a huge stage. Like, the range allows different people to excel in different places. It allows people's personalities to come out in different places. It allows there to be a place for everyone in the scene in different ways, you know? Like, Jordan's good in battle scene anyway, but like maybe he might lose in a hip hop battle to like someone like Ice, right? I think that's a safe bet that Ice could probably get Jordan. Jordan's good, but I'd put my money on Ice. However, in Dance Your Style or this type of thing, I put my money on Jordan. And it's like, that's dope because they both deserve a place to shine, you know? And to earn that place, not just to be like given, oh, you can just do a fucking showcase here or there, but like, you're good at different things. So you're allowed, it's good to pull that out of people in different places, if that makes sense. I'm probably going on about this too much. That's the problem with this, where there's no one here to, nobody can stop me. I can just keep talking till I feel like I'm done. All right, so there's some events coming up. This weekend there is a event is an All Stars battle called Third Culture Kids Jam. It's an All Stars 1-on-1 battle. It's on Saturday the 16th of October. It says 12 to 5. So, and they've only got one category. That's how the fuck you do it. But let's see if hopefully they run that on time. But yeah, it's in aid of Cancer Research UK, and it's like £5 minimum entry, but you can donate more. So I think that's dope. And yeah, go and check that out and donate. It's not on Insta, I don't think, but it'll be on Facebook. Third Culture with a K, Kids with a Z, Jam. Yeah, so check that out. It's in Shoreditch. And then there's some events. I'll just run through the events, but I'm not going to talk about these events until next week because we're already at like 45 minutes. Dancers Delight is next Friday, the 22nd. That should be good. I'm going to talk about that more next week because it will be the week prior to the event. There's an event on the 23rd and 24th called I'm going to get the full name. New Gen Cypher HQ is the organization that are running it. It's a big 2-day event. Workshops, battle. Apparently there's like £1,000 total prize money. some guests, some workshops. It looks like it's going to be big. I'm going to like talk about it more next week, and we'll go through the lineup and stuff. And what else? Oh, Breaking GB's WDSF qualifier is on the 31st of October. So that's coming up. That's the week after. Yeah, if you want to send me any events that are coming up that you see, I'll talk about them on the pod and I'll try and post them on the Capsule. Thanks everyone that kind of joined the Capsule page. I don't know if the people that are following will be listening to this, but thanks for joining and listening if you're listening. Yeah, I think it's about time to wrap it up. Yeah, I could talk about Dance Your Style and these things forever, but I don't have forever. So yeah, check out the Capsule.ldn on Instagram. Check out the Duke London podcast. My latest podcast is with Mechanical, so check that out. It's up now on the Capsule YouTube, same place this will be. You can go there right now after this and watch it if you want. And that's it. Yeah, keep tuned. Thank you to everyone that's like sending nice messages about the Capsule and stuff. I really appreciate it, and like talking to me in real life. Yeah, please keep doing so. Tell a friend. And yeah, this week's song is by Shintastic. It's a remix of a track that I like. Shintastic is a guy called Shin, and he does a lot of the light feet tracks that people are dancing to in the light feet scene. Super nice guy, good dancer. And yeah, I really like the original of this song, and I really like the remix. So thank you for that, and see you guys next week. Peace.
Shintastic.